Okay, welcome to our 500 subscriber special here. Yeah, I just reached 500 subscribers on this channel, and we're gonna celebrate that, I guess, with a bit of a special thing here. I'm gonna play an old game that I played back in the day, the late 80s. Um, and yeah, we're gonna celebrate our 500 subscribers like this. Also, I have a bit of another celebration. I'm actually noticed yesterday that I've been Let's Playing games on YouTube for 10 years now. I began actually in March of 2013. That was not on this channel. I had a channel before, uh, and I had 800 subscribers there. Uh, and I mostly played a strategy game called Distant Worlds. Uh, Distant Worlds 2 came out, was it earlier this year or at the end of last year? It's really a great, great game. Uh, but I played the previous version, Distant Worlds 1, Distant Worlds Universe. And I played it before it was even very popular, before it was even released on Steam. So when they released it on Steam, I got a lot of subscribers because of that, because I was one of the few that actually did that game then. So yeah, that's also a kind of a celebration I'm having now with this as well. 10 years. Yeah. And yeah, this channel has been going really fine, I think. Uh, it's not really my goal to get a whole lot of subscribers or get very popular because I'm kind of a niche kind of guy and I play old games like Daggerfall and Empire Total War, and now I'm having Rome. I'm actually playing the remaster of Rome 1, so really old games, and now I'm gonna show off something even older here. So you wait and see. This is gonna be so great. But my goal here is just to make videos for nerds like myself and get a few friends, and I think I've done fine. I have gotten a lot of friends through this, and I couldn't even start mentioning you all, but you all know who you are. And yeah, that's I think that's the most important thing with this, uh, because I'm never gonna be big like Legend of Total War or those guys. I'm never gonna be that. But being a part of this and just doing videos, it's really, really a hobby that I can recommend more people take up. Yeah, 500 subscribers. I'm aiming for 1,000 then, I guess. Even if I don't want to a lot of subscribers, I guess we should have a goal. But I'm never going to monetize this channel. I'm not. I was actually, it was easier to monetize back in the day, so my previous channel was actually monetized. Uh, but I think that was a mistake because at the most I got 14 euros 1 month, and in return they got the opportunity and they were allowed to actually ruin every one of my videos with their silly advertisement. So I'm never gonna monetize this one, not even if I had 10,000 subscribers. I'm not. If I had 10,000, I'd just make a Patreon. Uh, in fact, I already have a coffee donation thing, so I can leave the link in the description if anyone's interested in that. But I don't think I want to monetize this, even if I get to 1,000 subscribers. I'm not gonna do that. So yeah, I don't know what kind of goals I have with this. We're gonna finish our Daggerfall. I'm kind of nearing the end of Daggerfall Unity, and then I have to choose really carefully because I kind of want to continue with Daggerfall Unity um, with a new character. But I'd also like to do Morrowind next and continue on that route. But it's gonna take a while still, probably a couple of months even to finish Daggerfall Unity. So I have time to think about that. In September also we're gonna get Starfield, which is Bethesda's next new big RPG. I'm really looking forward to that. So I might do that in some capacity. We'll see about that. Also, I'm gonna finish my Empire Total War with Russia, which I'm doing now. Really exciting, really good game. And after that, I haven't really decided what faction I'm gonna play, but I'm gonna continue with Empire as well. Empire and the Bethesda RPGs. Those are kind of my backbones here on this channel. Um, so I'm gonna. I've been thinking Venice. I'll play Venice. That would be interesting because I'm not really good at the naval battles, and I kind of want to get into those more. I'm talking about Empire Total War now. I'm a bit disjointed, but I'm not scripted or anything, so I'm always disjointed, and that's how I like it. Or I've been thinking Persia. I was looking at Persia the other day, and that looks like such an interesting game. You have really crappy units, and all your neighbors are really big and strong, like Russia up there in the north and the Ottomans in the Middle East and so on. That would be really fun. Yeah. So that about that. I'm not gonna have any more goals than that. I don't need to have any goals here. So now we're gonna do a different thing here. See, I started playing games back in the 80s on the Commodore 64, and I gravitated towards simulation games like Redstone Rising, Stealth Fighter. You know, those were the microprose simulation games. Redstone Rising was a submarine simulation, and Stealth Fighter was, of course, a fighter jet bomber type simulation game. So I played those. I also played Sid Meier's Pirates a lot. That was probably my first real big game in my entire life. I lived that game. It was so good. It was the first real open world historical really grand simulation. It was so good. It made me read books about pirates and the 17th century and stuff like that. So yeah, that was a really important game. I still have the manual here for it, actually, right here. So I can lay my eyes on it each and every day. It's like the Bible, you know. Then I also played RPGs like the Ultima series. I played. I didn't play. I didn't play any other Ultima games than I played 4, 5, and 6. So Ultima 5 is probably my favorite of them. 4 is also good, but I haven't actually played the other ones before or after that. I played some Dungeons and Dragons games, I remember, but I didn't really like those. There was an RPG called it was actually an action RPG called Times of Lore. I've actually been thinking about playing that here on this channel because it was probably the first action RPG in history. It featured really great graphics and kind of a thin storyline and weak game functions and so on, but it was such a lovely game in the end because it was completely open world and it featured a really big map for its time. And they actually crammed that into the Commodore 64, imagine that. And yeah, then I also played strategy games, and tonight we're gonna play a strategy game to celebrate our 500 subscribers. We're gonna play a strategy game from way back, and yeah, let me just show you here. So yeah, Theater Europe. This is a real document from way back. The world that's featured in this game does not exist anymore. The world that is featured in this game died in the early 90s with the end of the Cold War. But this game was so scary back in the day. I played this. I got my first Commodore 64 in 1988, but before then I was usually found at my friends' homes utilizing their computers. But I think I played this at the end of the 80s first. I think, yeah, 88. And I wasn't even in my teens back then, or early teens, I guess. And yeah, this was really a scary game. And for its time, it featured. This is. I'm gonna show you here the ZAP 64 review of it. It was reviewed in June of 1985. ZAP 64. This was the magazine we all read. All European Commodore 64 fans read this magazine. It's considered something of a cult magazine. It was written by really young people for young people, computer nerds and gaming fans, and this was the magazine. We all read this. I used to run out and buy this every. I think they were monthly. Yeah, every month. I think I have. I think I still have a couple of them left here. So they used to do reviews, and this one got a gold medal. This is a review then of the game we're gonna play here, and they go really into depth with how scary this game is because it features a conflict between the Warsaw Treaty or the Warsaw Pact and the NATO alliance. So the Cold War gone hot, and yeah, this is really interesting. I read this. The developers say they have had to fiddle with the figures for the game because they got their information on how to do the strengths between the armies. They got them from the NATO headquarters and from the Soviet embassy in London. So, the Soviet embassy must have surely been very truthful in telling about the numbers of the Warsaw Treaty troops on the other side of the Iron Curtain. I'm sure the Soviet embassy was the source number one to go to. Yeah, so this game got 94%. That's a really high mark. So we're gonna play this game. It's not gonna take long, really, but this is a historical document, and this was I think this was the first strategy game I played in my entire life, and I was obsessed with this. I was really obsessed with this, and part of the attraction was, of course, that it was very scary because it featured that conflict. We all grew up. We who grew up in the Cold War, during the Cold War, we know how scary this actually was. So we're gonna get into this game and we're gonna actually play it here. Okay, here we are in Theater Europe. Even the music was scary, although it's a version of Give Peace a Chance actually. John Lennon's Give Peace a Chance. You'll recognize it. Yeah, there we go. So even the music is really very atmospheric. Really very atmospheric. So we're going to play the Warsaw Pact, the Warsaw Treaty. And we're going to play on level 1, which is the easiest. We are not going to play with the action scenes because no one back in the day understood how those worked. So press P to play. And here we are. This is it, guys. The World War has begun and we are facing off against the imperialists here. We need to defend the working class against the evils of the fascists there on the other side of the West German border. The object of the game is to conquer West Germany, really, to get to Bonn. And yeah, after you've done that, you're gonna get a command rating. I think I sometimes got up to 97% or something. Sometimes you don't even have to use nuclear weapons, but of course we're gonna use nuclear weapons in this playthrough. Because that's why you played this game, to drop the bombs on cities. Because that was scary and cool. So when I'm gonna start rolling into West Germany, the Warsaw Pact is of course the aggressor, as in any scenario of the Cold War gone hot. So we're gonna move. Oh yeah, I'm playing this on the WinVice emulator, so I'm controlling the cursor by keyboard. Back in the day you used the joystick. I'm gonna try and outflank them here. There's not really much, strategy in this, but I guess that's also Cold War-ish. World War III wouldn't have been much strategy really. It would just have been over in 30 minutes. Soviet Union would have fired its missiles at the United States and vice versa. This is an airborne army. We can drop that behind the enemy lines. We're not going to do that now. This is an amphibious army. We're going to head for Denmark with that one. So yeah. This game puts the player in the command of either the NATO or the Warsaw Pact in Europe. And World War III has broken out. It's day 1. We're on defense condition 5. So that's the nuclear defense conditions, so we're still safe. I think the lowest it went was during the Cuban crisis in the early 60s. I think it went to 2, but don't take my word for it. I think that was when it went the lowest, though. When you're on defense condition 1, that's all out nuclear holocaust. So you know. Here's Western Europe: London, Paris, Brussels, Bonn are the target for our offensive. And the neutral countries, these neutral countries, Yugoslavia and Austria and Switzerland, actually have armies. We're not going to engage with those. The Italian armies, sometimes you can get them in the field to attack here, but they're really slow to move because it's slower to move over the mountains. The memories with this. So we shall end our movement phase by pressing space, And now it's our attack phase. I usually only attack where I'm numerically superior. So you press, well, the joystick button, and you press the enemy army. So you select your own and press the enemy army to select the attack. So I'm going to attack that one, the British First Corps, with all of these three. They're probably all Soviet. 2nd Guards Army, 20th Guards, 28th Army. No, there's no East German Army for some reason. I don't know. Maybe they are embedded in the Soviet. That's the Polish. But no, kind of surprising, no NVA, the Nationale Volksarmee. So that's really a disappointment for me because I'm a fan of the East German Army. I collect actually stuff from. I actually have a full colonel's uniform and a Stasi uniform and stuff like that. Now I'm digressing again. I think I've done my attack orders now. So to proceed with that, I continue just pressing space. The attack then commences, and we took out the British there. I don't think we did any damage here, but we took out one of our enemy's armies. Now we come into the rebuild phase. Up there I have one armor that I can now deploy. So I'm gonna be heavy on the spearhead here into Germany. We're gonna focus on strengthening our spearhead into Germany here. Then we come into air. I think we're gonna strengthen that one with only a 1, and then we're gonna continue building the spearhead. Supply. So here's a 1. Keep strengthening them. Now we get to the air phase. Now we can deploy. I don't know what the numbers are supposed to represent by, but units perhaps, or missions, whatever. So we're going to take out all the reserves and put them into air superiority, or most into air superiority. I'm going to put in 40 there and counter air. We're not going to put anything into the reserve. Now we get to the nuclear launch phase. In fact, we could do that already, I guess. I don't want to start a full nuclear holocaust, because that would end the game. But I want to drop a bomb or two. So let's go into that. This was the scary part of the game, the really scary part. See, I had a cracked version of this game, so I never had to call a number or anything. That's a British number, I think. So that wouldn't have worked for me. But yeah, we have 30 seconds to sit and wait for that. So now we can enter the so-called authorization code for the nuclear launch. But we all knew back in the day what it was. It was midnight sun. Isn't that a lovely thing? Then we get into this. This is the full launch, all nuclear weapons launch, all your entire arsenal. But let's go for a single strategic launch. And the entire map turns red, really ominous. This was so scary. Let's bomb a city because it's fun. No, not Brussels. Somewhere where we can get a lot of casualties, you know. Let's go for London, the very home of the imperialists. I think that's something that the Soviets would have aimed for. Ooh. Oh. And now we're gonna have the Americans are gonna respond. Seems like they're aiming for Warsaw. Yeah, see, when you grew up in the 80s, you know exactly what kind of feelings that this kinda led to. There were all sorts of cultural phenomena around the nuclear war. There was one episode of The Twilight Zone where there was a woman who could stop time. She got a, I think it was actually one of the very first, the really very first Twilight Zone episodes. And there was a woman who had the ability to stop time, and everything froze. And in the end, the episode ended with that the Third World War started, and she stopped time in just the right moment. And when she went out, there was a Soviet missile hanging over her city, so she couldn't. That's how the episode ended. She couldn't ever start time again because that missile would have fallen out of the air and destroyed everything, and she was just there all alone in that frozen world with those missiles hanging overhead. Gonna push on here. Think we're gonna really spearhead. See, that one cannot move now, so that one's gonna clog this up. Maybe if I move this one here and this here, yeah, that's better. I'm not gonna touch these yellow. That's the Austrian army. I'm not gonna touch them. Gonna continue. I don't think these Romanian armies will have any chance of joining the fight. Gonna head for Copenhagen here. This turn I really want to attack here so we can break a hole in the NATO line there and get through. But I'd also kind of like to take that one out. Yeah, I think we will have to do the West. That's the West German First Corps. I think we moved everything. So this game is a real historical document. There were of course other games like this, like Red Storm Rising, the submarine simulation from Microprose, which also dealt with the Cold War gone hot. I think this is gonna be our attack for this turn. Yeah, at least we pushed that one back. It's not too hard because I'm playing on an easy level, like I always did back in the day too. Like the easiest level, you know, to get the best experience and never lose. Put everything into that area. We have no reserves anymore. We're not gonna do an we're not gonna do an attack now, so we press N for maintain status. NATO is now pulling back. So that's something. NATO's pulling back. We're gonna move forward. Do I want to move this one to Denmark and take out that Danish? Yeah, see, I can't move that one now because moving through the mountains is gonna. So I need to wait for that. I think I'm just gonna push the line forward and not try to be fancy. Just push them forward. Can I? Yeah, I can. Could also drop the airborne army. Yeah, let's do that. I'm gonna show you. It has a certain range. It's very. This unit is very weak, but I'm gonna drop it there now. I am recording, aren't I? Yeah, 17 minutes already. 17 minutes of of this. I could do other Commodore 64 games too. Yeah, I could do that actually because I have a lot of games that I played back in the day that I never finished. I actually never finished the Ultima games, so I've been thinking about that. I've been watching Ultima 4, 5 and 6 Let's Plays on here on YouTube, and I've been actually thinking about doing something like that. I also have other games like this. There was a really good detective game called, well, The Detective Game. It was really, really awesome, and I could follow a walkthrough to kind of finish that game because I never finished it when I played it in the 80s. Let's do that for attack now. We are firing along the entire line. Push them back a bit. The imperialist enemy. So the working class liberation of Europe has begun. The proletariat is marching forward to liberate Western Europe from the clutch. Oh, I did that wrong, didn't I? Yeah, I shouldn't have. I should have gone there. Let's maintain. I'm probably not going to fire any more atomic weapons. I just want to win the war. Yeah, they're going to take out my airborne army now because it's really weak. But we can continue on now. I think I'm going to move this one. It's going to be slow here through the Alps, though. Let's continue here. I'm going to take Copenhagen. I think that's good for the movement phase. We're going to try and break that one now. That's the West German First Corps. It's been stiff. and try to... Yeah, let's all gang up on that one. I'm gonna attack that one with that one just to have something to do in that area. I think this is it. Pushing them back. Yeah, we had no air supply. Put out 3 points into the north. Yeah, we have no reserves. I could possibly take out... Nah, I'm not gonna change anything. I don't need to. Soon gonna be in Copenhagen. They're still keeping a very ordered front there. The imperialists. So I kinda need to break it to get through. So I kinda need to focus on that one. So let's try full scale attack on that. And continue here to entertain them in the south here. And up there, yeah, in the north. Because that West German corps has defied us a long time here now. We lost an army there, didn't we? When you're playing NATO, this is a very hard game, even on easy, because this game makes the Soviet Union or the Soviet side so strong, which wasn't really historical fact. By this time in 1985, the Soviet Union was in free fall, and then came Gorbachev. But the economy was in free fall because after Brezhnev, the economy stagnated during Brezhnev, and the military was, mostly drunk. So the entire nation was or union was in kind of a free fall situation. Look, we're on DEFCON 2, so we're right one step more, and we would be in total global nuclear annihilation. Wish I could get a unit in there, but I can't, so let's go with this. Gonna continue in the north there on that West German core. The Soviet Union could never keep up with the United States. It was just impossible. It wasn't possible. I think we lost another one. Let's maintain the status. Not gonna drop any more bombs. They forced us back there now. Is this really the easiest level? So I've taken Copenhagen and the Danish aren't moving. So just gonna leave it at that. My southern area is kind of messed up right now. Still the West German First Corps, but they're defending their own homeland. That's of course gonna be intense. Do it like that. Okay, we're running out of resources now too. See if we can get that southern flank a bit more ordered now. These troops from the south are now coming up to join the fight. Let's try to get them to the front line as soon as possible here. I think this should do it. I'm not gonna move. I don't think I'm gonna move that one. Let's try to focus on smashing the hole to Bond there. We have 2 units there behind the line, totally unutilized. Might want to move them around here. Let's continue focusing on that. I could drop a bomb on one of the units. You can actually target the military units too, which could give us an advantage. But I'm afraid that the Americans are going to respond with an all-out nuclear attack, and that's going to be game over, not only for us, but for the entire world. I think we're going to attack with this time around here. We lost an army again. I don't think this is... I think I'm playing on the hardest difficulty. I think I pressed the wrong... But that's okay. It's supposed to be much easier than this. So I think I actually mistakenly chose the hardest difficulty. Maybe, I don't know. or maybe the game just happens to be like this time around. No problem. We have reserves behind the main line here. Day 17 of World War III. Isn't that something? Let's move that third shock army up then. Continue moving on here. And I want to focus still on this area. And that West German First Corps is going to get its. We just moved in a fresh unit. We lost another unit. Keep them supplied. Man, this is really hard today. I have not achieved the breakthrough I was hoping for. Could move this one up here and pull this one back here to have a nicer line. There we go. At least we took out their most prominent units. Now we can fill that gap and go for Bonn. Bonn, if you didn't know, it was the capital of West Germany. Berlin, or East Berlin, was the capital of East Germany. Oh god, that was wrong. I was gonna do... Okay, no problem. There we go. Sometimes when you get close to Bonn and Brussels, the Americans get kind of twitchy, and especially if this is on the harder difficulty now. I'm not sure if it is, but if it is, then they might release an all-out attack. So I'm going to change that nuclear status. I'm going to change it in the next phase. So if the Americans attack, we're going to respond with an all-out nuclear response ourselves. So now we're breaking through here. I go for Bonn. Uh, I'm not sure now if that's the target or if it's Brussels. At least they usually capitulate when you're on the West German border on your way into France. So I think we're good here now. I could possibly move on the Danish army here. I think it was kind of weak-ish. If I remember correctly. Let's just try to attack it and see. What do I want to do here? I think I want to go for this one. With these units, all of them. See, I think the capitalists are running out of supplies as well, so we're not alone on that part. The war has been going for 21 days now, and I think even if this has been mostly conventional, I think this is a war like this would have been very exhaustive. These parts of Germany will be entirely destroyed, and we, of course, London is gone and Warsaw, so this war would have been really bad for all sides involved, even the neutrals. No one could escape this. We only had one there. We have 2 air, so let's put them into there. We have 6 supplies. Let's give the amphibious army 1. And guess now we're gonna change the reflex system. That means that if the Americans unleash all their weapons, no, if the Americans shoot even 1 nuclear missile at us, we're gonna respond with 1, and that means that they are gonna respond and we are gonna respond and so on. So that's gonna be all-out nuclear, full-scale release. So reflex system is now on, because I'm afraid that they are gonna actually unleash all their arsenal when we get near to Bonn and Brussels there. So let's do that. They pulled back, made a nice line again. So let's see, we can possibly maneuver in here. I'm gonna probably move everything down. Like this. No, I did that the wrong way, didn't I? I can't get all my units in there now. This one is fresh. I think this unit is fresh. Yeah, I think it is. So let's move that one in here, because we're gonna really go all out in this direction now. So we're gonna attack the French 2nd Corps, I think, or the American 5th. Where do we want to break? I think we're gonna go for the American 5th Corps there, I think. And up here we're gonna target the Dutch. With all-out attack. Over here I think we're gonna try and target this West German 3rd. So that's our... Oh, I forgot the Danish situation, but that's okay. We can resupply a bit there. Maybe. We don't have any armor. We have air 2, so I'm gonna put 1 into that. Oh, I can't do that because it's the amphibious army. Could give them supplies, but I don't think they have a 2, so that's... They took out our unit there. Okay, now we're gonna go into northern... the Netherlands there, I think. Yeah, I think that's... No... Like so, I think. Let's continue on here. I'm gonna push that unit in there and this here. Both sides are getting kinda thin now. Let's attack there, see what happens. Continue on here with working on the Dutch and to strike the Americans or the French. I think I'm going to continue with the United States 5th Corps. I'm also going to attack here because this army is kind of strong. Let's continue working here on that side. See, the Romanian armies are now involved in the fighting. Usually it doesn't get that far, so I think I chose a harder difficulty by mistake, but that's okay. It's even a better game because of that. See, now I lost several of my units, even the amphibious there in Denmark, so yeah, I think this is a harder... I chose mistakenly a harder difficulty here. But it's okay. Yeah, all my forces in southern Germany are now gone. So we need to work on that now. That's the French. So I need to move. We need to make an all-out assault on that French unit. Yeah, this is really thin now. Wonder if it's even winnable anymore. Maybe if I can win one of these. Nope, that didn't do it. Just one air. Supply 2. That means our entire reserve is now exhausted. At least they moved out of Bonn. So we can now actually go into Bonn. But I think yeah, we're gonna move this one into Bonn now. It has 0 supplies though. Uh, yeah, let's focus all on this. Yeah, we lost several units there. How can this be so hard this time? No air. I have one supply and all supplies are just out. Seems to me like we've actually lost the game. Yeah, NATO victory. Warsaw Pact attack halted. Yeah, there was no chance to win with that. So yeah, I think I chose a harder difficulty, but that's okay. That was a great game actually. So the NATO, they halted our attack and we weren't able to liberate all those enslaved working class people there in Western Europe. So that was a shame. I'm gonna end the video here. This was a great 500 subscriber video, I think. So yeah, uh, thank you for watching, I guess.